what is this?
John J. Bowman. So it's a company. A distillery out of Virginia. Virginia, yeah. So
do they distill their own juice, or do they source it?
Here's the funny thing about that. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm not gonna. Should I say it?
Say it.
I'll say it. So who owns Buffalo Trace? Is it Diageo or is it Sazerac? I forget.
I feel like it's Diageo.
I don't remember. Completely irrelevant for this conversation. So the parent company that owns Buffalo Trace, and there's no direct link that you can go down a rabbit hole and find. But word on the street is the company that owns Buffalo Trace and all the entities underneath them own John J. Bowman.
Okay.
So this is one of the few, I think the only companies that get their, so the word on the street is Buffalo Trace does the first stripping run.
What does that mean?
So in distillation, when you have all your grain, right, fill it full of water, heat it up, boil it, add your yeast, that's called fermentation, right? Once it sits for 3 to 7 days, depending on the distillery, they then pump all that mash out, and that goes right into the stills. Now, when you distill, you always have your stripping run as your first run. Okay, so you bring it up to a certain temperature, boom, whatever comes out, that ends up going back in to get redistilled for then what becomes the stuff that actually goes in the barrels. So with John J. Bowman, Buffalo Trace allegedly does the first run.
Okay.
The first stripping run. Shoves it into those big plastic totes.
And for those of you who are unaware, plastic totes, what do they look like? They're like big, giant plastic totes.
People have seen them. So it's like, imagine like a big like milk carton, except that it's square. And then it's got a metal cage around it to protect it. So
and the point of the totes, as opposed to putting it in a barrel, is that it does not impart any flavor when it is in a tote.
No, so people will use the totes like after they've double barreled stuff and then they blended it together, or after they put a blend together. And if they're not ready to bottle that blend, they'll put them in the totes, and because there's no more aging involved. So in theory, the totes should taste the same from the day they put them in the totes to 6 months later when they're ready to barrel them.
Of course, in practice they'll taste like mildly different, but it's probably not that much.
Not that much.
Care.
So
either way, so Buffalo Trace does the first stripping run
allegedly,
and then they ship it off to
Virginia.
Now
so that's why I didn't say they were an MDP, a non-distilling producer, because they actually do the second run of distillation. So they go ahead and they do that, and then so they take, when the heads are done, they take the hearts and have a bunch of the tails, and then they put them in brand new 53-gallon charred oak, white oak barrels and age it.
I'm inclined to believe that the word on the street is correct, because at least this bottle says produced by A. Smith Bowman Distillery, which is important.
Grab the other one, just for shits and gigs.
Product of Virginia. Okay.
And we've talked about it a million times before.
Product of Virginia.
If you ever want to know if people are distilling their own, if it says produced by or bottled by or whatever.
This also says produced by, although it claims to be Virginia straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah. So it's just kind of, not that they're comparable, but like the Ben Holiday.
Yeah.
Where it's Missouri bourbon. They're trying to stand out in the marketplace. You can leave that bottle out, because I think that's the first one I ever bought.
It looks like a much older label.
So these guys back in the day, you would find their standard small batch. I think they have a port finish that pretty much sit on the shelves.
You owned the port finish, didn't you?
I don't remember. That's a long time ago, man.
Eons
ago. Like these single barrels used to just sit on the shelves. And then people started finding out about them. And then the single barrels got yanked from the lineup. So they're really hard to find. We're just talking about this because I have started to see more picks out. And they have the single barrels, they have a cask strength, but it's so hard to get. You have to pretty much get into a lottery, like on the Bowman website to even try to get one. But interesting story with this company. So they're not NDPs. They are distillers.
If anything, they're closer to like whatever the in between a contract distiller and they do the distillation.
They're doing the distillation.
What do you think the thought process is then of outsourcing the first stripping run? It smells really quite excellent, by the way.
You want to know my honest truth?
Yeah.
And this is just me and the 4 brain cells I've got left in my head. Okay?
I thought you had 5.
The amount of whiskey they can make.
Because
you have to figure if you're allegedly at Buffalo Trace, they have more than one. We were at Texas at the TX distillery.
Yeah, TX.
That's a fucking 60-foot column still.
And they had
one.
One.
They had a huge other pot still that they used as well. That's what makes TX interesting. Buffalo Trace, I've never been there. They've got to have
a mess of
a ton of stills. So if I was this company and if I was owned by a parent company that owned said Buffalo Trace, and I could afford one still, and why mess with a company that really knows what they're doing? But I can put my own little twist on it by, like, if they just do the first stripping run up to their standards, and then we get that from them. It's like almost like getting like a chef meal.
Yeah.
That's like packaged for you.
Yeah.
And then you get it home.
And then you add your own spin onto it.
But you cook it, put it all together, and maybe add your little twist to it.
Yeah.
Still a gourmet meal. Did you do all the work? No. However, you did more than calling Uber Eats and having some fat kid drop it off and maybe spit in your food when he drops it off at your house.
Right, you are.
So.
I mean, it's a smart business proposition.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, especially if you consider where Virginia is. I don't know how favorable of a climate Virginia is in terms of
think of this
distilleries.
Think of it this way.
Talk to me.
Let's go back 100, 200 years.
The founding of this nation.
Where did whiskey come from?
Right you are.
Pennsylvania, Virginia. So the climate can
accommodate it.
It can accommodate good whiskey.
It's similar enough to Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I just think for me, at least, they were one of the first companies that, like I said, 10 years ago when I started getting into this, that I like Virginia. We lived in Virginia for a year. Didn't hear about them back in 2009, but then when we lived in Vegas where I bought this bottle, this is probably 3 or 4 years after that. Now, this is 100 proof, so it's 50%. It's a single barrel. So what does a single barrel mean that's at 50% alcohol? Means they what? Proofed it down. So it's still a single barrel. They just, at least for these offerings, they just like it where it comes in at 50%, so a nice 100 proof. So nothing too crazy, nothing like the cask strength or 120, 130, 140 proof, but it's a respectable 100 proof. And if you look hard enough, or just if you're out hunting enough, you do see these. So this came from Vegas, this came from Arizona, right? And we're in Georgetown, Texas. And I think I got another one coming on the way from Arizona as well. So, not being shipped by mail at all. This is actually going to be hand delivered.
A courier service.
With a couple other things that we might have got. So, anyway, Bowman, is it exactly like Buffalo Trace? No. Is it still really good? It's still super good, right?
To your point, Buffalo Trace doing the first run, and that probably doesn't, this doesn't taste at all what you would expect from a Buffalo Trace product, because it's not.
It's kind of in between.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So when I'm sitting here looking at Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace, I'm looking at Benchmark, I'm looking at, Stag, Junior, I'm looking at E.H. Taylor, I'm looking at Blanton's. It's not really that, but it's adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's very close in terms of flavor profile. I never knew that the first stripping run would have this much of an effect on the final product.
Well, I would argue that it's not the stripping run that really makes the final, it's the second run.
Mm.
So if they're doing the second run in Virginia, they'll let it age in Virginia. That's where, like we did with the Buffalo, we did that a while ago, the Buffalo Trace, where we had the White Dog.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we did the regular Buffalo Trace and the Eagle Rare. And it's fun to see the transition. And now they could be asking Buffalo Trace to, have their, White Dog. No, it's not even the White Dog because it's a stripping run.
No.
So I'd be interested actually to see if you could get the White Dog of this.
That would be interesting.
And then compare it to what Buffalo Trace puts out and see the subtle nuances between the two companies. But they do, changing the subject, they do make a port finish. They've got not a huge portfolio.
How much do they ask for a bottle, usually?
Well, this one was $55.
Mm.
There's no price tag on this one, but it was probably close to that. Now you will see, like for their cash strength and stuff like that.
That'll creep up to 70.
It's going to be, if you buy it on secondary, you could be north of $500 a bottle. Just because they don't make a lot of it, so kind of like, not to be a dick,
Just
but
talk.
You learn from who owns you. So if you create, what do you call it? This scarcity.
Artificial scarcity.
Yeah.
Artificial scarcity, most commonly seen in the consumer electronics.
Yeah. But they do it in bourbon and whiskey all the time.
Certainly.
So now here's the thing: the regular John J. Bowman's are great. It's a nice entry level. Their port finish, I think it's an A Bowman, is their port finish version. I haven't had it yet, just because I think they want a little too much for it. Either that or the proof's too low for me. But single barrels, the two that we have, soon to be 3, are all different, but they're all very good. And depending what part of the country you live in, you can find them. The cash strength version, that's where we get back to that artificial scarcity thing, because they can make more.
They could.
But when I follow them on Instagram, so when they have a new release coming out and it's a lottery system and you got to sign up for it, and sure as shit, I don't know how many people actually get them, but they always end up on the secondary market for some reason. They always charge an arm and a leg for them, and I'm like, how much did we get that Stag Junior for? 60-ish?
It was about 60 retail.
Secondary market's only paid $500 for a barrel proof of this.
Reason number 774 to not pay secondary prices. It's not worth it unless you're like dying to have a particular
Now, would I love to have a cash strength?
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Especially to compare it to like a cash strength offering from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, like a Stag Junior.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what their twist on it would be.
I'm surprised there's not more distilleries out of Virginia.
Maybe
there are, and just they're more locally.
When we lived there, I don't think there weren't that many.
Oh, when we lived there, that was also before the whiskey boom.
Yeah.
Long before, as a matter of fact.
It was, yeah. And if you remember, we talked about this on a prior episode with that Montevalea rye.
Yeah.
Right? So people are starting to, when you're looking at the whole great big wide world of
spirits,
of American spirits, and you've got, the continuous 50 states can only be made in America. I wonder how that would work if you lived in Hawaii or Alaska, because you're not. Alaska at least is connected, but Hawaii's not. Interesting laws, right?
I wonder if you could distill.
But they are a state.
Could you distill in a U.S. territory when they count?
Not said yet. It's
got to be one of the states.
U.S. states. So then Hawaii and Alaska would be good, right?
Bruh.
You would think.
Bruh. Make one whiskey distillery.
Right. But yeah, no, it would be interesting. I think this is
it's good.
So for the people on the
internet,
on the interwebs that are jonesing out over John J. Bowman, it's the next best Buffalo Trace. I mean, it's a good whiskey. I wouldn't necessarily go hunting for it. I would definitely wouldn't pay secondary for it.
You wouldn't pay secondary for it.
However, full disclosure, every time I see a single barrel, which has only been, 2 times that I've seen it, 1 time that I've seen it, and 2 times that I've heard about it, because number 3's on the way. They've just been in other states where they had a store pick of a single barrel. Or they just happened, this isn't even a store pick, this is just a single barrel.
It's quite good. It's quite straightforward. It's a good solid bottle. If I did it on the numeric system, it'd be a solid 8, which is high praise. This is a very good bottle, but there's not a lot to say about it because it's not weird or peculiar.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I'd probably give it, if we're graded on a scale of 10, I mean, it's a good 6 for me.
6, yeah, that's fair.
It's nothing. It's nothing special, but all single barrels are going to be a little different.
I would agree with you.
Right, because they're not blending barrels together. It's just that's the barrel that it came in. All they're doing is adding water to it to get the proof where they want it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for me to give a really high rank, 6 is still good. 5's average.
5 is average.
Right, 5's like right down the middle. Like it's good, not terrible, but it's all good. This is a little bit better than that, I think. The story is more interesting to me, because I'm a nerd.
The lore.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, and they don't tell you. And all the digging that I've done, you don't know if it's Buffalo Trace's their mash bill 1, their mash bill 2. It's definitely not a weeder.
Certainly not.
So you don't know what you're getting. At least they say it's produced. So they're not, skirting the law. It is, but once again, it is redistilled. How many people how many companies have we talked about where, let somebody distill it for them, ship it in barrels, and they get the barrels, they just dump the barrels and put in a bottle. These guys are at least doing the work and then aging it.
They're putting in some effort.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. Cool company, cool story, decent bottle.
It's good.
If you come across a single barrel at MSRP, I'd say pick it up.
I'd pick it up, but literally
only at MSRP.
It's $55. That's what's on the top for this, and this we got probably
3 years ago.
2 years ago.
Maybe a little longer than that.
That might have been sent. That might have been hand delivered via. I don't know. I'm done. I forget. But anyway,
it's called 2 issues.
For retail, if you can find one, and listen, and don't sleep on the other ones.
Certainly not.
Right.
I imagine that port finish would be quite good.
Yeah. Oh, we should try that. That's actually kind of sacrilege that we're doing a video on this, and I haven't tried the port finish yet.